I am very much honored to introduce my guest, the one that would be starting our International Women's Month. She is the epitome of what a woman in our modern times is. Let me introduce with my proudest moment, Mayor Joy Belmonte. Good afternoon, Mayor Joy.
Good afternoon, Attorney Leah, and good afternoon to all of our listeners and viewers in today's show.
Growing up, I've always heard about the Belmontes. I've always heard about, the politics behind Quezon City. But I've always believed that good leadership would always be effective in how we see the kababayans in the jurisdiction, di ba? So my first question to you, Mayor Joy, is, gusto niyo po ba talagang maging mayor when you were growing up? Or was it, was it passed on to you by your parents or by the people that you love? Who is Mayor Joy po talaga while growing up?
Well, Attorney Leah, no, actually, very interestingly, yung aking pangarap nung bata pa ako ay maging isang archaeologist. And in fact, yan din po ang inaral ko in school. I studied social sciences at the Ateneo, and then wala pong kasing kurso ng archaeology sa Pilipinas, so I had to apply to study this course abroad. And I came home and I was a practicing archaeologist. And you will be so surprised. Anong kinalaman ng archaeology sa politika? It's because when I was practicing, and of course, for those who don't understand what archaeology actually is, it's a science that studies the past, ano yung mga nakaraan, batay doon sa material culture or yung mga remains or artifacts ng nakaraang mga sibilisasyon. So I'm sure many people have seen the Discovery Channel at nakakita sila ng mga archaeologists na kumukot-kot sa lupa. Actually, yan ang ginagawa namin. We dig in order to find remnants of the past. And that's my passion, and that was my occupation in my earlier years. And nagkataon, I guess it's not something that people really value in our country. Kaya nga, di ba, sometimes they say, oh, Filipinos have an identity crisis, or they don't know what their history really is, mga ganyan. And so, part of my job is to try to unearth kung ano ba yung kasaysayan ng Pilipinas bago dumating ang mga Kastila, para pwede rin tayong magkaroon ng sense of national pride, no? Because we were something before the Spaniards came and had written languages, no? But in the course of doing my job, kailangan namin makipagsalamuha sa mga, I would say, municipal mayors, local governments. And there was one time na I went to a local government at pumila ng mahaba para may paliwanag sa mayor kung ano yung trabaho namin at kung pwede niya kaming suportahan. And that really struck me, yung experience niya yan, because pagdating ko sa mayor, hindi siya interesado. The time that I did this, my father was mayor of Quezon City, no? And I realized wala akong interest talaga sa politika actually before.
Oh.
And we don't, although my father was the mayor, hindi po kami yung type ng pamilya na kailangan i-pass on or yung dynastic kind of family. Hindi talaga. No? Walang pressure on the part of my father to pass this on to me. Walang pressure on my part to be a politician. And I have 3 older brothers, none of whom are politicians. But it was that time that I realized to myself that siguro maraming mga katulad ko, mga taong may mga gustong gawin na mahalaga naman, gustong sabihin na kailangan mapakinggan. Pero not all leaders value the voices of everyone or value the things that are important to everyone. And then at that time, my father was graduating as mayor of Quezon City, and I thought to myself, maybe I should try to run for public office since my father had a good reputation. And baka naman, isa sa mga dapat kong gawin is umupo para mabigyan ko ng halaga ang mga boses ng iba, mabigyan ng halaga yung mga bagay na mahalaga sa ibang tao, pero sa mga nakaupo ay binabalewala nila. So how interesting na it had nothing to do with my father or what. It was a very personal experience as my job as an archaeologist that made me want to serve. Yeah.
Mayor Joy, you said a very interesting thing earlier about unearthing the past, knowing the kasaysayan of our country. Do you think it is relevant in your position right now to learn from the past and actually use it for the present and our future in terms of governance po?
Yes, definitely. Ngayon, yung interest ko in archaeology, syempre nasa tabi muna. Although some of my programs have to do with setting up museums, giving value to culture and the arts, nandyan nakikita yung aking initial interest in cultural development. No? Pero nakikita ko rin na in governance, you really have to learn from the practices of the past. And that's one reason why when I became mayor of Quezon City, isa sa mga naging layunin ko is to be a reform-oriented mayor. Nakita ko na yung mga kinagisnan, yung mga gawain ng pamahalaan na sinasabing traditional politics, hindi talaga tunay na natutugunan yung mga pangangailangan ng taong bayan. No, yung mga sinasabing kinagawian, hindi siya sapat. No? Kaya I became a very progressive and very reform-centered mayor. Naging mahirap siya. Aaminin ko, Attorney Lia, because marami kang magiging katrabaho, lalong-lalo na sa local government, na sanay na sa dating gawi, ayaw nang magbago, yung status ko okay na sa kanila. Pero para sa isang katulad ko na gustong-gusto na maibigay lahat ng mga serbisyo sa taong bayan, mapakinggan lahat ng mga boses, at magamit ng wasto at tama yung kaperahan ng lungsod, hindi po pwede yung dating gawi. Kailangan talaga magbago tayong lahat.
Was it difficult for you, Mayor, na, okay, babae ako. Ako ang magli-lead sa one of the most progressive cities here in the Philippines. Was it hard for you na iangat yung sarili nyo sa stigma of being compared not only to your dad, but also being compared to your other mayor colleagues? How was it for you being a woman and a leader, ma'am?
In the local government scene, dito pa lang sa Metro Manila, ang dami na naming mga babae. The mayor of Makati is a woman, the mayor of Taguig is a woman, the mayor of Manila is a woman, the mayor of Pasay is a woman, the mayor of Mandaluyong was a woman, the mayor of Malabon is a woman. Ang dami namin dito. Marami rin akong kaibigan na mga babaeng mayor, and all over the world, ang daming mga kababaihang nakaupo bilang chief executives of very important cities, no? Like Sydney, like I think in Rome is a woman, marami. No? So sure, there is underrepresentation. Kulang ang kababaihan. There should be more women. But in the area of do I feel discriminated against, did I feel difficulty leading the city, I must admit that I did that. No, hindi ko siya naramdaman na minamaliit ako ng mga katrabaho ko, hindi ko naramdaman na discriminate ako ng mga katrabaho ko. Wala akong naramdaman na gano'n. Ang aking, in fact, nakikita is not an issue of gender, it's an issue of leadership. What kind of leadership are you bringing onto the table? And women have a different kind of leadership than men. Yan, maliwanag yan. Women tend to be more consensus-driven, consultative, they're less confrontational, they like to dialogue, they like to communicate, they like to solve problems without conflict. Iba yung leadership style ng isang babae. And of course, it's personal na rin yun, no? Kung anong klase kang leader magiging. No? I have a vision for the city, and I try to live a life of I like to live a life of integrity and dignity. And when people respect you, regardless of your gender, nakikita ko naman that you get the results that you want. Kasi ang importante dyan, ikaw ay isang leader na credible, na pwedeng pagkatiwalaan, that people can have confidence in you, and that you are convincing and exemplary in what you do. And I think that is the real challenge of leadership. It's not the gender. It is the kind of leadership that you are espousing.
Thank you for educating me with regard to, you know, the it's not really about the gender. Although people would say na, okay, it's about gender, babae kasi ganito, ganyan. Thank you for educating not only the viewers, but also me, Mayor. Because now, I know that it's not really about gender. It's about what kind of government leader you are and what, you know, how you transform the people that you serve. You said, ma'am, something about integrity, about being exemplary in how your governance is. Ma'am, do you think that progressing further in your term as mayor and possibly in the future, do you think, ma'am, na mahahawa pa po natin ito sa mga kasama natin, not only with the sustainability of the goals na nagawa na po ninyo and yung mga programa po ninyo, but doon pa po sa mga future na mga plano para sa ating lungsod, ma'am?
Well, ako, Lia, no, nakikita ko na itong mga pinangarap ko para sa lungsod Quezon, unti-unti nakikita ko na yung mga results nito and they are positive. No? Marami na tayong natatanggap ng mga pagkilala, both internationally and locally. And almost every day may mga local government units na pumupunta dito sa lungsod Quezon, nagbe-benchmark sa atin. No? Just this morning, I had with me Mayor Lorelie Pacquiao of Jensan na nagbe-benchmark for our business one-stop shop at saka yung Office of the Building Official, yung aming mga reforms na ginawa doon. So yes, in answer to your question, do I see my leadership style, my vision being, I guess, continued forward? Yes, of course, may pagpapatuloy yan kasi nakikita ko na yung fruits of my hard work and nakikita ko na positive yung output nito, outcome nito, at nakikita ko rin na marami tayong natutulungan bilang isang lungsod sa iba pang mga local government units. So in fact, when they say that one has to hold a very high position to be able to be an agent of change, that is not true. I believe even in the local government, in the space that you are given, you can make a difference and you can influence others and you can share these best practices with others. No? And when all the local governments act positively towards better service delivery, economic development, towards improved service to the people, actually, ang laking pagbabago ng mangyayari sa buong Pilipinas.
Yesterday, I was in a palengke. Namamalengke po ako ng pagkain namin sa aming bahay. Tapos nagulat ako nung humihingi ako ng plastic. Sabi nila, ay bawal na po ma'am ang mag-plastic po dito. Bawal na po yung, not environmentally friendly. From that, sabi ko, oh, sakto, I will be talking to Mayor Joy tomorrow. Ma'am, what brought about your passion to have our environment be delved into progress further? Kasi alam ko, na-realize ko, ma'am, sa ibang jurisdiction, I cannot speak for other jurisdictions, only those that I have observed, of course. Ma'am, why is it that Quezon City is a champion for environmental concerns and not only that, inclusivity also, ma'am?
Yeah, so you brought up the two very closest values to me. One is sustainability and one is inclusivity. I am both a human rights advocate and an environmental advocate. No? And napakahalaga para sa akin na mapangalagaan yung ating kalikasan because it is the only planet that we have. And if we do not take care of it by doing sustainable practices, the studies have shown that we humans are slowly destroying our planet. And if we act in ways that are not sustainable, ay darating ang araw wala na tayong mapapamanang planeta sa ating mga anak. And so the issue of environment is very close to my heart. We started with banning plastic and then single-use plastics. No, and now single-use packaging material. And bakit plastic? Kasi alam na natin na we are one of the greatest polluters in the world with regards to plastic waste. Napupunta yan sa ating mga dagat. Nakikita natin na yung mga isdang kinakain natin ay may microplastics na. No? At kapag in-ingest natin ang isda na may microplastics galing sa ating mga kinakaing pagkain, nakakaapekto ang microplastics kasi puro chemicals yan sa ating kalusugan. And there is a very strong link between health and the ingestion of microplastics that are in turn or at first ingested in our the food that we eat, no, sa ating mga palaisdaan. And for me, that is something that is avoidable. We can avoid this and we should avoid this para hindi makasakit sa ating kalusugan, hindi maapektuhan ang ating kalusugan. But in addition to plastic waste and plastic pollution, climate change is an even bigger issue kasi
Yes.
climate change is about carbon emissions. No? At kung hindi natin ito ay control, meaning carbon emissions that come from the buildings, sa ating unmitigated use of let's say, appliances that are not energy efficient, our use of fossil fueled electricity, mga ganyan, fossil fueled iba't ibang fossil fueled vehicles. Kung hindi natin yan i-address, ang mangyayari dyan, magkakaroon tayo ng global warming. And when we already are feeling the effects of global warming, and when that happens, the weather changes, our biodiversity is lost, the food that we eat is affected, the agricultural produce is no longer going to be able to feed the whole planet, ang laki ng epekto ng global warming sa
Yes.
kabuhayan ng ating mga mamamayan, sa kalusugan ng ating mga mamamayan, at sa planeta natin in the future. No? So these are two things that are very important to me. And so, naging bahagi ng aking agenda of governance ang pag-address ng climate change to climate action. And we are the first city that have a climate change and environmental sustainability department. We are also the first city to have declared a climate emergency all the way back in 2019. And we are one of the first cities to have passed a local climate change action plan, which endeavors for us to minimize by 30% ang ating carbon emissions by the year 2030 yata, and then by 2050, zero carbon emissions. Yan ang ating pangarap.
Was it hard na i-align po ang 8-point socio-economic agenda ng ating Pangulo sa iyong governance skills, or was it natural? Was it smooth flowing since our only purpose and objective is to serve our kababayans with not only with our skills but with our heart? How did you manage po, Mayor, na i-align po ito sa ating Pangulo at sa vision niya po?
Well, to be honest, Attorney Lia, hindi ko memorado yung vision ng ating Pangulo. I don't know all of the details of his 8-point agenda. I just know that when I made my own 14-point agenda, I had the best interest of the people at heart, and my strategy for achieving all the things I want to achieve, namely better healthcare, better education, housing for our people, economic development, Quezon City as the most preferred business destination, lahat yan, no? A livable, sustainable city. I have a 14-point agenda, but I would like to say the anchor of all that, the foundation of all that is good governance. No? And good governance is something I truly believe is a very effective tool towards achieving your overall goals and objectives. No? And that is grounded, of course, in certain principles, namely anti-corruption. I have a zero corruption policy in Quezon City. People might say, di marami pang corrupt sa Quezon City. Yes, but we're getting towards a place where it's much less. Okay, much more minimized, because we have taken very active steps towards eliminating or if not minimizing, eliminating corruption. Transparency, we owe it to the people to be transparent in everything that we do. All documents are accessible to our people. Accountable, I believe in accountable governance. Hindi dapat sinisisi ang ibang tao sa mga pagkakamali natin. No? And it's only by being accountable and recognizing our own mistakes and our shortcomings that we can strive to be better. No, so kasama yan. And of course, napakahalaga, Attorney Lia, yung taong bayan dapat kasama mo. People participation is so important. And that is one reason why dito sa Lungsod Quezon, masasabi ko na if you ask people kung medyo responsive na ba yung local government, tingin ko people will generally say yes. Kasi we have a Quezon City People's Council here where we really consult with and work with the different sectors that are in our city to make sure that we know their needs, we know their dreams and aspirations, and we plan accordingly para yung ating mga investment plans, yung ating mga programs and activities ay aligned dun sa tunay na pangangailangan ng iba't ibang sektor na ating pinaglilingkuran niya.
Ma'am, can you give me 3 of your pipeline objectives na gusto ho natin na maidala further pa po sa inyong tenure as a mayor and hopefully our third-term mayor dito sa Quezon City?
Well, madami pa tayong gustong gawin. Siyempre, Lia, actually, napaka-ikli talaga ng 7 na taon. At hindi ko pa assured na makukuha ko pa yung third term ko because I still have to run for re-election. It's a very short period of time for a mayor or a leader that has a lot of dreams and aspirations for the people. But first and foremost, I just want to make sure na sana maiangat talaga natin yung antas ng kabuhayan ng lahat ng mga mamamayan. And that is where my personal advocacy of inclusivity comes in. Kailangan lahat ng mga mamamayan nararamdaman nila ang tulong at support at kalinga at pagmamahal ng lungsod sa pamamagitan ng iba't ibang mga programa na tailor-fit sa kanilang mga needs. No? And so we continue to work with the different sectors. May they be PWDs, may they be seniors, solo parents, the youth, LGBTQIA+, urban poor, kahit yung mga negosyante, kahit yung mga homeowners association, all these sectors, there are 23 sectors, we work with them on a regular basis to try to make sure that all of them are positively impacted by our time here in government. So that's the first thing that I would like to achieve. At least mama-measure yan. No? I'm a very evidence-driven mayor. Hindi
Yes,
pwede sa akin yung papuli-politika lang, papogi-pogi lang, hindi talaga pwede yan. Kailangan may datos tayo na nai-improve talaga yung buhay ng mga
yes.
tao. And that for me is
Yes.
what I would like to achieve. But second is what you already also discussed with me earlier, which is sustainable development. Hindi po pwede yung unmitigated economic growth dahil masisira, mawawasak, mamamatay ang planeta natin. Kailangan ay sabay-sabay na magkakaroon tayo ng sustainable economic development. Meaning we take care of the planet by adopting environmental friendly mechanisms, strategies in order to enhance economic development for our city. So again, caring for the planet, economic development, hindi yan mutually exclusive, mutually inclusive yan. Pwede natin yan gawin parehas dito sa Lungsod Quezon.
Saan ho tayo papunta after ng third term natin possibly? Where do you see yourself, Mayor Joy?
To be honest, I cannot really answer that question dahil hindi ko pa napag-iisipan kasi para sa akin, the space that I have been given now, which is the mayor of the largest city in the Philippines, meaning the most populated city in the Philippines, is already such a big responsibility na tingin ko it is already a gift from God na nabigyan ka ng ganitong klaseng kumbaga biyaya na pwede mong baguhin ang buhay ng mahigit 3 milyong tao. Okay, so at the moment, I just want to focus on doing my best in the space that I've given, which is the mayor of Quezon City. And then everything else, is at the moment divine intervention. Kasi alam naman natin, Attorney Lia, when you look back at history, a lot of people plan for so long to achieve certain goals and certain objectives and certain seats. Pero kung makikita mo na certain incidences nangyari, nagbago ang lahat, you never know what will happen and what the future will bring because there is a divine element to all of that. So at the moment, masyado pang maaga talaga para pag-usapan kung saan tayo pupunta pagkatapos ng ating pagiging mayor.
Mayor Joy, a lot of young women, a lot of little girls siguro are watching our interview right now, especially so that they are not only watching the mayor of one city, albeit the biggest city here in the Philippines, the most populated here in the Philippines, pero they're watching you, ma'am, in the hopes na someday I can be as empowered. I can be someday as strong, which is one of my advocacies, ma'am. Little girls growing up having these dreams na hindi lamang sila hanggang dito lamang. Pwede pang umangat. Pwede pa nilang ma-achieve kung ano yung mga pangarap nila. And I think, ma'am, you are the epitome, as of now, of what being a woman is. So, ma'am, if you can give even just a short spiel to our little girls and young women who are studying, working very hard, trying to achieve their dreams, what can you say to them, Mayor?
Well, siguro I would also like to debunk a myth, no, that you have to be empowered. They always say, okay, somebody has to empower you as if you yourself have no power. No, there is a power inside every one of us, okay? And we just have to discover that power and we have to live out that power and we have to be able to be confident enough to use that power in order to achieve our dreams and aspirations. So sa lahat ng mga nakikinig na mga kababaihan dyan, remember, there's power within you. Okay, no, you don't need anybody to empower you. It's already there. But what we need are opportunities, and ang aking payo, when there are opportunities, always take these opportunities because sometimes baka minsan nang dumating yung mga pagkakataon, pag dumating yung pagkakataon, kunin na natin yan, no? Para mas ma-exercise natin yung kalakasan sa loob natin at mas lalo natin ma-maximize itong potentials na ibinigay sa atin ng Panginoon Diyos. Pero tandaan natin na women are equal to men. All genders are equal. And they should all be equal. And we are not asking for something greater than something that is itong myth na naman to na I know I'm a woman, I might be greater than a man. Hindi that's the wrong mindset. We are not greater, we are equal. Equality po ang hinahanap natin, pagkapantay-pantay. Okay? At uulitin ko, we cannot live without other genders. Kailangan natin sila because we are allies. Okay, magkakampi po tayo, magkasangga po tayo. We have to work together. So hindi po ito kompetisyon ng kababaihan at kalalakihan, kundi it is about everybody finding their inner power, their inner voice, everybody having a seat at the table, but not just a seat, a microphone, so that the voices can be amplified, and everybody has an opportunity to have their lives improved because they were given that voice to be able to state how they wanted their lives to be improved.
Mayor Joy, I do not only thank you for this last bit that you have shared to us and you have shared to our viewers, but I am grateful that you took time to educate not only me, but our subscribers, our viewers, our listeners to how Quezon City is as a city. Hindi man tayo ganun ka-perfect na lungsod, pero we are trying. Like what you said, when there are opportunities, you take it. Miss or make, take the shot. And I think being empowered starts within. And this has been Prime Times with Attorney Lia. Thank you very much.